We are Steve and Jill.
Together, we've been buying and reselling land since the 90s.
Our data-centric approach leaves our buyers asking, how can you sell it so cheap?
Here on the Land Academy Show,
We answer that and more. Steve and Jill here.
Good day.
Welcome to the Land Academy Show.
I should have come up with something funny, and now it sounds like I just hiccuped.
Welcome to the Land Academy Show, entertaining land investment talk. I'm Stephen Jack Butala.
And I'm Jill DeWitt. I don't have the hiccups, and I'm broadcasting with Stephen here from sunny Southern California.
Today, Jill and I talk about how life is a series of little wins.
Sometimes that's all you get.
All week this week. And again, we respond to what you want to talk about through our customer service environment and through the correspondence that we get through existing members running their own mailers through offers to owners and contacting our staff. This is our response to, stuff that's on our members' minds or potential new members, both house members and land members.
Well, thank you for that.
So it's not like, wow, what the hell are they talking about now?
Okay. Thank you. Well, my point on this whole show, and I can't wait to talk about it more, is seriously, I mean it. Sometimes it's all you get. We all have a thing. We all want to swing for the fences. I was watching today with you, watching some news thing and talking about how to retire at X age. I'm like, really? And this guy wrote this dumb article with 7 things.
This is like
his.
Let's rant with Jill Monday.
Totally. This is his way of retiring at 35, which is don't spend a lot of money on clothes. Don't buy extended warranties. By the way, who buys extended warranties?
How did that ever meet the
I don't know.
bullet point list?
I know that was a big one for him. He's obviously this is his own 7 things that got him in trouble. So here are the 7 things that got this guy in trouble. He spent too much on clothes. He buys too many extended warranties. He has a huge cable bill. He eats out too much. He upgrades his own cell phone. And there are 2 other, that's pretty good for me remembering. And I just watched this, I was walking by the room and I caught this. And I already remembered 5 of the 7. And I'm like, this is your answer to retiring early?
Somebody told me a long time ago, never let your world get too small. So there are some people who just kind of save themselves, cost savings themselves into this tiny little world where they have, they ration themselves 9 peanuts a day.
Right. Live on mac and cheese.
And they, shop at the 99-cent store. Not that there's anything wrong with that because I actually do it often.
He does love that.
But you just got to think big. Like you can't cost savings your way if you own a company into happiness. You have to top line revenue generate your way to happiness and then manage the costs within reason.
Right.
Every time I look at our expenses on all these companies we have, I'm like, oh, do we need this? And then it turns out it actually comes out pretty well. We do need it.
Right.
So people get themselves, you can use your toothbrush and get a new one. It's not going to hurt anything. Yeah.
That would have been funny. Stop buying deodorant. You don't really need it anyway if you're retired and living and working from home. So there's a bunch of costing. Maybe you don't need any of these hair products.
We're going to trade. You know what? Because this is sort of on topic.
Okay.
We're going to get through the question here. And we're going to pick this up in a second because there are a lot of people who run their life is a series of little wins.
That's what I think.
And saving on deodorant's not a win. You didn't win there. Before we get into it, let's take a question posted by one of our members on the landinvestors.com online community. It's free.
You've seen that deodorant rock, by the way, haven't you?
No.
You don't know about this?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay. Maybe because my 2 best pals went to college in Humboldt. I know all about the deodorant rock and all kinds of things.
What? We'll talk about this in a second. I have a lot of questions.
Okay.
Just when you hear, you think you've heard it, all this weird California weird stuff that goes on out here.
Oh, there's a lot.
All about this.
Okay. Jeremy asked, in a recent Would You Do This deal, Steve and Jill mentioned they would like the deal better if the offer price to buy the land was lower than the mailer offer price. Wondering what type of strategy or language anyone can share about how to go back to the landowner and try to negotiate / offer a lower price on land. Any suggestions greatly appreciated.
So I'm going to set you up on this, okay?
Okay.
Because you're an expert at it.
Yep, done this many times.
Sometimes you send an offer campaign out. Some people call back, the owners call back, or they send back their offers, and you look at the deal, and you say, I love this deal, but it's priced too high for what it is. Maybe it's got some little flaw. Maybe you have to establish access. There's some stuff that might have to go on that's expensive that increases your cost base in the deal. So it's like you want to do the deal. You know, Jill and I say around the office, we love it at 20. Where the purchase price is not right now at 30, but we love it at 20, at 15. We're going to run to the bank. Mm-hmm. So that's what Jeremy's talking about. So Jill, how do you effectively do that without looking like an idiot?
I point out whatever the flaw is. I usually start with that, like, hey, Mr. Smith, have you been out there lately? And by the way, how do you get there? Because clearly there's no access. Maybe it's something like that, you know, or it's tricky, or there's a fence that's locked, or, you know, you need 4-wheel drive.
These are all real things about land.
Crazy thing about it, right? And, or, you know, hey, Mr. Smith, there's another common one is like days on market are so high. You know, that comes back a lot, especially recently with deal funding. I find people that are finding some good deals. I'm like, darn, but have you looked around and seen how long these properties have been for sale? Gosh, I can't pull the trigger. I'm having a hard time laying out that much cash to sit there for 6 months kind of thing. So that would be something too. I'd come back to the seller and say, Mr. Smith, I'm pretty sure you've had this for a while. A, I know that because I looked it up. And B, I'm pretty sure you're having a hard time finding a buyer because, gosh, nothing's moving out there. So I would point out whatever the holdback is and say, look, here's a deal. Because of this situation and the situation, if there's more than one, however it is, I just can't justify tying up X, you know, $35,000 for this and take the risk. And I'm sure you can appreciate that. So here's what I'm willing to do. I do like it for these 3 reasons. It is a great property. Gosh, I can see what you were going for here, and I can see what is possible here. But the best I can do, my highest and best offer, and I often use that exact verbiage so they know I'm not messing around. Like my highest and best offer is now $21,000. So I know that's a big difference. And if that doesn't work for you, I totally get it. I don't mean to offend you in any way. But that's it. And if that works, great. Let's do the deal. If you want to think about it, fine. You know, I'll honor it for 30 days. Let me know. And if it doesn't work for you, gosh, I wish you all the best. And that's it.
And Jill's absolutely right. And this is if you're starting out, or even if you've done a bunch of deals or you're expert at this, this is very real. This is something that happens every single week. We probably should have talked about it a little bit more before now, but renegotiating a deal that you already sent an offer out, everybody said, yeah, I'd love the deal. You go look at it. It's like, this happens all the time. What you want to make sure that this doesn't become part of your business model because you have negotiationitis or whatever about
Don't do it on everyone.
You don't want to squeeze the heck out of no. In fact, you want to do it on, I don't know, what would you say, maybe 80%? 20%?
Yeah, if that, maybe more like 5 or 10. It's really maybe 5. There's a small amount of deals. We're now, and once you get going, you're going to be this way too. You're going to look at a deal and go, yes, no, right away. And there's a few you're going to go, I got to think about this one. And this is the deal that you thought about, you slept on. You're like, gosh, I really like it. What's holding me back? Well, shucks. At the end of the day, what's holding you back is the price. Because there is going to be, if you really like this deal, there's some number that works for you that you're like, you know what? Hey, let's just say for a lot of us, for $4,000, I don't care if it sits in my inventory because I'm doing $20,000 deals, right? All day long. So to put $4,000 over here and let it sit for 6 months and just kind of see how it goes, I'm good with that. And at $4,000, like Steven said, I'll run to the bank kind of thing. Because I think it's worth 20, but it's got a lot of problems. So I buy it for 4, sell it for 8 or 10. Hey, I'll just let it ride.
And the seller's going to have probably one of 3 responses, and you can tell immediately. Mm-hmm. The seller's going to say, that sounds good to me. So now you know price is not their primary issue. They're trying to check it off the list. I have a motorcycle right now that's been sitting in our garage for I would take any price just to check it off the list. Price is no longer, probably never really was my point to sell that. I've long passed.
It was at one time though.
Right.
Let's talk about that.
That's right.
It was at one time a big deal. And like most of these sellers, that was at one time. And they either want to sell or they don't.
So
And that's
that's-
all you're trying to figure out real quick.
So that's option number one is, oh, sure, I'll take that. It's no problem. I'm trying to check it off the list. Thanks anyway. A few $1,000 doesn't matter to me. That's what you're looking for. The second response is go jump in a lake. This is my price. I know what it's worth. It's been for sale before. I'm not in any hurry. And that's fine. That's when
They don't
Jill
need the
says,
money.
hey, give me a call in 6 months when you're still in the same situation. The third one is, and this is my favorite, and it almost never happens, and it's actually happening on this deal, on this question with this member, this manager. Okay, great. You assess the deal. I agreed to your price. What you probably don't know, there's a few caveats to this piece of land that you need to know about before we actually, proceed down the pricing path. We cleared the land for a mobile home 4 years ago. And we got as far as this, and this. There's some real special things that you just, by looking at it on Google Earth, I know you guys do, you're probably missing it. And I'll go out, I'll shoot some pictures, I'll send them to you and justify the price. And then you guys can look at it. That is what I love that response is great. I just now justified the higher price. I can pass all this information on into the posting when I go to resell it. And in this case, it's like we already have a buyer now. We already have a guy in our database who loves these kinds of properties. He's a reseller. And so now everybody's happy. He gets his price. I'm happy to pay the price. And I know I'm going to sell it for more because it's like mobile home ready.
Mm-hmm.
And I use that phrase loosely. Mobile home ready, I mean.
Yeah, I understand.
So go back and negotiate if you need to, but don't abuse it.
Right.
Today's topic, life is a series of little wins. This is the meat of the show. Every single morning, I wake up,
Yes.
like everybody, and do the same old routine that you always do. You shave, you make a cup of coffee. And what I've noticed about myself over the years is that
Please share. This is good.
those things go well. Some of them go well.
What did you notice about
Maybe
yourself today, Stephen?
I had on a scale of 1 to 10, I had about a 7 shave.
Really?
Yeah. Sometimes I have a 10.
Well, what makes a difference?
I don't know. Time, the
Stubble?
the whiskers grow in differently at this
Ah.
age. It's not always the same.
I didn't know there was a 7 out of 10.
Maybe it's a brand new razor, or a brand new razor blade.
Interesting. Okay.
So that could be a win or a loss.
I understand. And so you really walk around and I'm not being picking on you or anyway. I'm just
I don't
trying.
take it that way.
Okay,
at
good.
all.
For those of you listening and watching, for your pleasure.
For your boredom.
Exactly.
The 3 of you who are watching this now,
Please, Jill, dig deeper because we want to know more about his shave.
can't you guys just talk about land?
I know.
Why do you have to talk
What
about
does
all
that
this
have to
other
do?
stuff?
All does this have to do with flipping properties? I'm so confused, but it does. I promise. All right. So you really, and I know this about you. I'm just clarifying. Rank every little thing that you do.
I don't sit around and say, well, that was a 7. It's just a series of little wins and losses, all of it.
Right.
And I'm taking it to a crazy extreme because I will get to the real estate portion of my day. So, and then you make a cup of coffee, and I haven't perfected yet. And it's all these years with this coffee maker we have, making a perfect cup of coffee yet. And it's not so much the coffee maker. It's like, I just haven't found the right beans yet. So the flavor form, I mean.
You know what? Oh, I got to ask. That's a follow-up thing. I'm sorry.
So life is a series of these little wins. And then, and I used to do this intentionally. I don't do it too much anymore. I intentionally do something silly or stupid, like fix something around the house where I know I'm going to win.
Oh, just so you can.
Like we have all this audio video equipment. You can't see it, obviously. And stuff goes wrong. And so I have this mental list of things to fix or adjust or these cameras and the whole thing. And I caught myself recently, like gravitating toward the stuff I know I can fix.
It's
because it makes me feel great. Then I go in and go into the CRM that we have about the real estate deals we're doing. And I take a look, and I swear, when you have these tiny little wins in the morning, it's like it translates to these real estate deals.
Well, my version is like having a to-do list where you write something down so you can check it off. I think a lot of people do that. That could be a win, like you're saying. My question is, are you ever going to have the right coffee beans?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's a big win.
So, the thing is, one batch of coffee beans by the exact same brand is, might be great that month, but, or I might change,
That's true.
who knows? Like, that's what I'm saying. That's my whole point. It's kind of a whole moving target.
Right. So tie this with me to doing deals.
Yeah. So it's, well, I was going to take it to the next point, which is the deal part of this too. Jill and I got a daily report from all the key members of our staff. And it comes in, we have a person in the Philippines do it. And so it comes in at like way long before we get up. So we wake up to it. And it's almost always a win. All the numbers, all the numbers for the real estate deals that we're doing, how many properties came in, how many properties are under contract that weren't under contract yesterday. And it's all I'm a huge fan of not making people who work for you do reports. When I worked for other people, I couldn't stand it. It would take half my day to do these stupid reports. So really what we do is they work all day and the computers collect their information and then it kind of gets regurgitated. So I always say, hey, don't ever spend more than 5 or 10 minutes a day. Maybe 5 minutes is better reporting what you're doing. Mm-hmm. And so that's a huge, I almost always read that and I'm like, wow, this is actually great. And that's a win. Those are little wins. So what that translates, I just wake up with a better attitude. Yep, I'm succeeding. This could be whatever it is for you, listener, watcher. Find out what that is because it'll set you on the right track. I know exactly what I need to see, and probably our people do too. What I need to see in those reports to feel good about taking on the day.
Mm-hmm. I look at little wins. I'm thinking about little wins for me with what we're doing in real estate. I always have to tie it into what we're doing. Even though it's life, but it's all to get, hey, this is our life, right? So little win is like, okay, the mailer went out. Check. That's actually a big win.
You're reading my mind.
Getting up and analyzing data and downloading some data, that's another big win. Yeah. So it depends on where you are in your career, whether it's a little one or a big one for you. If you've been doing this for 3 years, it's a little one like, yep, got another mailer out, got another mailer out, got another mailer out. Now the big wins are, little wins are the routine things. Little wins are closed it, bought it, closed it. But for a lot of people, those are big wins. I was just reading today or yesterday, I can't remember what it was. Just, I'm always seeing people like, I'm just taking down my first deal. It was so cool. I'm sorry I didn't write down your name and you know who you are. You wrote in there, Jill, you said if you can do 1, you can do 100. And you put it in Facebook. And I made a note to put, that's right. And I said, I can't wait to hear about your number 100. So it was so cool.
We've set our whole situation up, and this didn't happen on accident. Jill and I set all these companies up to really have little wins, and that's what it is. I look at our podcast distribution numbers. We joke about having 10 listeners, but it's closer to 100,000 a day. And so I get those numbers, strategically receive those numbers from the podcast analytics company, so that I'm like, but right about the time I forget about the podcast and how it's doing, I get this email. And it's like, well, your stuff has increased this much and your distribution's here and there, whatever matters. So I guess what I'm really saying is we all need to be motivated somehow, even Jill and I, at this point in our career. And I know very much what makes Jill happy. And there's certain, I write little notes to her and stick them on her computer when she's not looking about what we're going to do after work. And it really it's those little wins. Mm-hmm. It's not like, as stupid as this sounds, I have a perfect frying pan right now. All right. I don't think it cost $9, but for some reason it just works great. It's stainless steel. And that's a little win.
No Teflon. We just watched that movie.
That's a little win. So, I don't know, whatever it is for you, maybe it's making $100,000 next month, which is, that's the result of a bunch of tiny little wins.
Right.
It's not, I made $100,000.
Little wins lead up to the big win.
That's what gets under my skin about all this stuff, this noise about passive income, usually coming from some 22-year-old who's starving for attention and wants to be famous and gets in front of Facebook. Granted, they're probably a hell of a lot better looking than I am, talking about how to get rich. And that's not what this is. This is a tiny bunch of tiny little wins and a career choice and sticking to it.
I would like to back up, and I want to end on this for me, which is take a look at your life right now today. And even if you don't feel like you're winning, Look at all the little ones that are going on.
Yes, Jill,
you got
perfect.
a job.
Perfect.
Yeah, you got a great family. Great. You got a roof over your house. Your roof over your head. Yes. Those are a lot of little wins. You got a good, reliable car. You're okay putting food on the table. Those are these. Don't forget all those little things. You woke up today. You're physically fit to do things. I mean, we talk about that too. So
maybe
don't discount some of those things because those are good things.
So maybe you have a short list. Just exactly right. Maybe you have a short list of stuff that just you're not happy with at all. Maybe you have too much debt. Maybe you don't like your job. Those are tiny little things that you just have to chip away at to change. So maybe you set yourself up for some new interviews, or you're working down the path, the Land Academy path to do your first deal. Break it down into little wins. Mm-hmm. But you're absolutely right. That's appropriate at any age, in any place. I am extremely confident the leaders of the free world revel in little wins in the morning.
Happy you could join us today. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we're right here on the Land Academy Show. Tuesdays and Thursdays, check us out on the House Academy Show.
Tomorrow, the episode on the House Academy Show is called Assessor Value versus Market Value. You are not alone in your real estate ambition. Yeah, Jack, but the assessed value on this piece of property is $32,000.
Shouldn't I be spending that much? Or shouldn't I be selling it for that? What should I be doing?
And I'm selling it for 15, and it really that's not right. I'm letting it go for.
Something's wrong.
We'll talk about that tomorrow.
The Land Academy Show remains commercial free for you, our loyal listener. So wherever you're watching, wherever you're listening, please subscribe and rate us there.
We are Steve and Jill. Information
and inspiration
to buy undervalued property.